they've talked about the zoning. Nobody talked about presidential election. So all the people you see doing acrobatics with their mouth, they're just trying to say things. We have done that, we have done it, we've finished it. We as a political party, we practice national zonings. In 2015, 2014, some members of our party formed a breakaway unit called MPDP. They used that MPDP to bring in President Buhari. And their own mantra was, it is turn of the North, it is turn of the North. MPDP brought in President Buhari. President Buhari has done 8 years and has now weaponized nepotism in a way that could destroy the country. Our governors have every right to come in to set purpose towards helping the country. What we've just done, simple, will force the APC to do the right thing. National sharing of power is based on North and South. So the North has done 8 years. If it is members of the MPDP that funded it, that forced it to occur, they've done it. So MPDP members are now back to PDP. Since President Buhari has done the 8 years, it is now the turn of the South to also experience it. That's why the zoning was done that way. And what was discussed was the zoning. Secondly, our leaders, when they are given duties to do, we accept as party men what they do. And they have done that, and we've accepted it.
One argument within your own PDP is that if you take a look at the 16 years the PDP ruled, that more of that period was spent, by someone from the south of the country.
That's why I told you the PDP, it's a political party whose members in 2014 formed a faction called MPDP. That MPDP went into a coalition with other Nigerians and bettered a president from the north. And that man has done 8 years. So you cannot, after he does 8 years, you now come and tell us that you don't agree with the consequences of those actions. No, that's how it should be. Now so nobody is a fool. Whatever MPDP does is also what PDP people did. That's what we're trying to tell you.
The 8 years you're referring to,
yes, with
President Muhammadu Buhari, right?
Yes.
That's supposed to be with another political party?
No, it's not true. The APC is, in that case, a halfway home of the PDP members who wanted to bring a presidency from the north. And that's what they did. Okay? Without the contributions of the MPDP, their money, their funding, their behavior, Buhari will not be president. So what we are saying is, you don't do this and then next time you now form CPDP, you also do the same thing. No. Politicians must be willing to accept responsibilities for their actions. And that's what it is. Our members, I didn't say other people, went to form a party called APC. Who inside that place is not a PDP member? Tell me now. Buhari is not implementing policies of the APC as a coalition. It is the agenda of the Miet Allah. And that's what has gotten the country into its security crisis. So those people who brought Buhari to power has come back to us. And now what we're telling them is, since you've done this thing, let us also think this way. I don't think anything is wrong in what has happened. Let us leave it at that. Trying to say anybody can do this. No, because the same people say anybody can do this, anybody can run, are the same people that formed the MPDP for the simple reason of bringing a president from the north. So, because of the weaponized nepotism and the way President Buhari has so dismantled and disorganized the country, you need somebody that could come in and neutralize all that he's done. If not, the youth will move to the front and seize the grounds, and we don't want the youth, because the youth will do things that could make the country not exist anymore, and we don't want that. The actions of President Buhari, which is attributable to decisions by members of the MPDP to bring him to power, we see that. So don't tell me it's only this side. No. Whatever me and you are doing, and you go tomorrow and do something else, when you return to me, I'll remind you of that thing you've done.
So you're clearly looking at a situation where both the PDP and the APC will be looking towards the south.
That is what will happen with the decision of the PDP. So all we've done is to intervene in a way to save the country, not just the party.
Do you think when that happens, your party will have what it takes to be able to defeat APC at the polls?
Well, if APC becomes a political party, then they might then be able to challenge us. But today, they're not a political party. It is coalition. Once they won the election, Buhari thrashed them, threw them under the bus, and started ruling alone. And that's why we're saying those who made that decision undermine the country. Even though they thought they gained the north. Okay, fine. Let us stabilize for the country. Well, I don't think this is this thing. It's not difficult to understand. So that when we do this now, next time we don't set such precedents. Buhari would never have been president if members of the PDP didn't go to bring him to power.
Taking a very good look at your own political party as it stands now, and if you're going for an election at 2023, where do you think your best 11, so to speak, using football metaphor, where do you think, which direction you think you should look at, if you are planning to win that election?
Planning to win the election?
If you are planning to win that election in 2023.
Yes. What should we do?
Yes, strategizing to win that election in 2023 between the North and the South, and you want to put your best foot forward. Where do you think your party should take a look at?
Right now, there is no argument about between the North and the South. The argument we have right now is between the Miyetti Allah and the rest of the country.
You keep talking about Miyetti Allah. Miyetti Allah a political party?
Well, it's not a political party, but what Buhari does is implement the agenda of the Miyetti Allah. So it is a Miyetti Allah. Listen, because when you see Biroms killed in Jos, when you see Governor Otom cry in Benue State, when you see the Kaka and the Pensa complain and cry in Gembu, Mambila, when you see the Adara, the Bagi get killed in Kaduna, these are Nigerians. When you see the Wurukum, the Tangale complain in Gombe, these are Nigerians. You understand that? So these people being killed, being ethnically cleansed, their voices being heard across the country, represented by the screams and cries of Governor Otom. ETV. And that's how we're looking at it.
And you think shifting power to the South will be the antidote to all of what you've just said?
Well, shifting power to somebody who will reconstruct and reassert the Nigerian dream. Because the Nigerian dream is an arrangement that's inclusive of the diverse
and you don't think that same person
Nigeria
can still come from the North, even from Katsina State?
Well, we believe right now, to be honest to you, nobody from the North can stop the Fulani insurgency. That's just the truth. Forget about all the pretensions. Nobody from the North has the capacity to stop the Fulani insurgency. And because of that insurgency, and the fact that none of them have spoken about it or against it, let us save the country. Nigeria should come first, my brother. Forget about persons. People don't matter. The country should come first. Nigeria is more important than anything else. Let's think about Nigeria. When Nigerians are killed in Benue, in Taraba, in Plateau, these are Nigerians. Why should they be in IDP camps and foreigners live in their villages? Why should we do that and people keep quiet? Please think about Nigeria first, not about private people who seek power for themselves. It is time for us to look to Nigeria. The governors that met in Lagos, Enugu, and Asaba are Nigerians of different diverse ethnicities, plus the voice of Governor Otom, who came to represent the indigenous people of northern Nigeria. This is how we look at it. It is the whole of the country against the Miyetti Allah. That's what we're doing.
Where then is the place of merit if you're looking for a presidential candidate, someone who can pull Nigeria out from the place you said we are right now? Are we not supposed to be looking at merit,
Well, you've heard what elder statesmen like President Babangida, former President Obasanjo, they all said, look for a young person who understands economics, people with proven records of administrative successes. And we can find a lot of those young people across southern Nigeria. I don't think that's a big issue. So trying to get frightened about the numbers fraud conquered by Buhari, when you do election somewhere in the south, you lose to card reader. When you do somewhere in the north, you allow them to write numbers, and then tomorrow you say that's a disparity. How come the numbers you show us don't reflect when you put direct satellite imagery. They don't reflect in school enrollment. They don't reflect in VAT payment. They don't reflect in economic activity. They don't reflect in anything except when you do it fraudulently and then you use INEC, whatever you have, to then impose those things, and after some time you start saying it's true. If you look at the equator, right from Timbuktu stretching down to Somalia, Nigeria is the only place where the army told us more people live in the desert areas than where you have water. It's a fraud. And of course, you know President Buhari's government is deceitful. President Buhari is fundamentally dishonest. And that's why you know nothing about his government should be believed by anybody. We, the PDP, we're actually trying to move the country into something the international community can refer to, can read, can predict. He has not destroyed it. Look at it. We've been in perpetual recession. Last month we did 0.9% contraction. His government said it was 5%. How could you have 5% of economic growth and nobody feels it? Those things don't make sense. You can't rule the country with lie and deceit. It does not work that way. It should not sustain. Buhari in 8 years has taken us behind 40, 45 years.
Now,
we need to find a way to change this.
If you claim that this government hasn't done very well, or has not done so much, so why then? How do you then explain the movement of people from your own party, the PDP, to the same APC? What's going on?
People who are integrity challenged people were not perfect. So those who are integrity challenged, when shown files by the EFCC of intentions to commit them, they do that. Call who you want to talk, and I will show you that his case at EFCC is very close to sentencing. So these are human reactions. Anybody that has a sentencing issue and jumps to the APC, it's understandable because nobody in the PDP can stop him from going to prison if sentenced. I didn't say we're all saints. So those who are integrity challenged and have files at the EFCC, when presented the truth about intentions towards sentencing, they behave in a way that you call the campaign. But we know it. They simply do that to keep themselves out of cells, out of prison. So Buhari is, in effect, using fear to induce membership. If you use the EFCC to drive membership, you should understand what that means. You cannot mention one human being that does not have challenge. Okay? So those things, you heard the other day, Governor Obiano went to complain to President Buhari that politicians were inducing false flag operations in the East. And you know that is for a governor to say that. Don't forget, when asked on channel television, Governor Zodema also said the same thing. That there were false flag operations being carried out by politicians. Obiano has repeated it. I have said that on this station twice. I've said that on channels. I've said that on the BBC. That these are false flag operations being committed by fifth columnists working for the Buhari administration.
Do you have your claim? Do you have your proof?
Yes, one proof, let me tell you. I was in Owerri the day when there was the raid and burning of the police headquarters. I watched from my hotel room as they operated for 3 hours, 20 minutes. Later in the morning, I went to the police headquarters to check. I was looking. No single gunshot. When I later asked, was any policeman killed? They said no. Did people kill anybody? They said no. So how could that happen? For 3 hours, 20 minutes, and there is no reaction. That meant there was a stand down. And the only authority that can instruct an actionable stand down is order from above. With that, I concluded these things are staged. So, and if you look at the government, they're not honest.
Why do you think someone will be interested in staging such actions?
Because the people who work for President Buhari are the same people who work with him for Sani Abacha. He took the death of Sani Abacha for Sergeant Rochas to come confess at the Oputa panel that all they were doing were false flag operations.
What exactly are they trying to gain?
What were they trying to gain under Sani Abacha government when they were doing false flag operations, trying to create impression? It was the what do they call it? Nadeco. So what they were trying to do there is that a bunch of young propagandists called the IPOB people, that's what they are. The IPOB is a propaganda organization propagating Biafra. They don't have the sophistry to instruct the police high command and the army high command to stand down for 3 hours, 20 minutes of very devilish operations. Show me any of those boys with the actionable strength to instruct and stand down to the police and army and the DSS for 3 hours, 20 minutes of those operations. I just looked and I got there to the police headquarters. I didn't see no mark, and I asked the policeman, was anybody killed? They said no. Did you associate? They said no. And I knew there was a stand down. So you ask yourself, who in Nigeria will give instructions for a stand down? And within 10 minutes of that thing happening, the IG said it was IPOB. Yet, he didn't find out in 2 weeks who killed Ebonyi people in Ebonyi State after they were attacked by the same unknown gunmen. That's what we now see. So we see unknown gunmen everywhere. We also see unknown gunmen shoot down the Alpha Jet in Zamfara State. Unknown gunmen kidnap and kill military officers at NDA. And yet no reaction, no action. So who are these unknown gunmen? You must ask yourself.
So you think your party, the PDP, has the answer to all of this?
Yes. The PDP will run an inclusive government. The PDP will respect the direction or principles upon which the Nigerian experiment was founded. And that is a principle of inclusion, of seeing everybody as one, of first securing the lives of Nigerians, not allowing Bororo Fulanis from Mali to come and kill Nigerians. Of course, you heard the emir of Muli say that, and in order to situate him, they went to catch some people and say, these are the people giving trouble. But why should they be here in the first place? Governor Ganduje has said, stop them from coming in from the sub-region with their guns. And other leaders say, it's the FY ECOWAS protocol on free movement and goods and services. No. President Buhari has worked hard with other West African leaders to implement the 2015 peace agreement in Mali. Those refugees will stay in their country, not come here. Fine. He's managed to say they should be registered. But where would you get land to give them? And the most important instrument in governance is trust. Now, people don't trust Buhari. When he says he wants to do grazing reserve, we don't trust him. He says cow colony, we don't trust him. He talks about consolidation of underground surface water plus 6 kilometers of embankment land. We don't trust him. He talks about farm estates. You saw the killings in Izombe. I returned from Owerri this morning. The killings in Izombe is unacceptable. If you're going to kill the people and burn their houses because you think you want to bring them agricultural advantages, please don't bring. They don't want it. The one that will kill them, they don't want it. How come all we have is death and destruction in the name of agricultural policies? We've never seen this before in Nigeria. How come? Since Buhari came, all he's been doing is seek land, seek land, seek land. Today there are more than 1 million people in IDP camps in Benue State. Same thing in Plateau State, while foreigners live in their villages. That should not be acceptable. You know about in Borno, when Nigerians went back to their ancestral lands and they were killed. Garba Shehu told us that the people should have gotten permission from him and Buhari before going back to their ancestral lands. That's not proper. You remember when Adesina say that we should give up our ancestral lands than fighting to keep it. Is that proper?
Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And that's the much we can take on the program tonight. Join us same time tomorrow for another exciting edition of the program Democracy Today. I am Omo Bazwaye, and thanks for joining us.